Hi folks, my name is Rhetorical, and in this video I want to go over the instructions for the rhetorical analysis essay assignment. Let's go on to Blackboard. On Blackboard, I'm going to click on the left-hand side here, Assignment Submission. And if you haven't already done so, I really encourage you to read this important reminder on academic integrity. And I'm going to scroll down here to the second folder, which says Rhetorical Analysis Essay. Now here are two things. You're going to see a link to the instructions for the essay. I'm going to click on that. Now what you'll notice is the assignment instructions open in our OneNote class notebook. Now if this is your first time accessing anything in OneNote, something that you might be curious about is the View tab. Here you can change the way that you view the assignment for accessibility and just comfort. For example, you can activate the immersive reader, which will help you focus as you're reading, and it can also read it out to you. So let's get started. First off, in terms of the due date and the submission, it says here, submit your 750-ish word rhetorical analysis essay, which is going to be 20% of your final grade. That's 1/5 of your final grade, as a Word document or a PDF in week 4 on Blackboard. And week 4 on Blackboard is Sunday, October 3rd at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, this is where you submit it, just on Blackboard under assignment submissions. In terms of the purpose, it says here, as a student writer, your goal is to use logos, ethos, and pathos, so the 3 rhetorical appeals that I discussed in the Introduction to Persuasive Communication, to evaluate, meaning to judge, the effectiveness of an author's rhetorical appeals. So you're using rhetorical appeals at the same time you're judging another writer's rhetorical appeals. In other words, you're trying to persuade me of your evaluation, your critique, your judgment of another person's writing. As a learner, the purpose of this assignment is to become more aware of how you are persuaded by others. And at the same time, as you can probably imagine, your goal is to also improve your persuasive writing techniques. Your rhetorical analysis essay should be at least 750 words, and you should analyze the rhetoric of a text, meaning a documentary, an article, a podcast episode. Text can mean many things, that was published in 2020 or 2021. Your rhetorical analysis essay should demonstrate an understanding of essay writing as it is discussed in this class. And the reason I emphasize this class is because I'm sure that you may have learned a few things about essay writing in other parts of your life, but I'd like you to apply what you learn in our class. In terms of skills and knowledge, through this assignment, you're going to practice the following skills, and these are essential in other college level courses, in the workplace, and in your communities. First, I'd like you to analyze an author's rhetorical choices, meaning their rhetorical appeals, in a text that's suitable for a post-secondary audience. Second, I'd like you to produce an organized, unified, and coherent essay using correct grammar, mechanics, diction, meaning word choice, and a standard formatting and documentation style. For our class, we'll be using APA as our standard documentation style. Now, the third skill that you're practicing is the ability to create a persuasive essay in which your main points are supported by appropriate evidence. Here's the task itself. Number 1, to complete this assignment, you should review the following resources to help develop your knowledge and understanding of rhetorical appeals. Number 2, you should select a text that was published in 2020 or 2021, and it uses a combination of logos, ethos, and pathos. Again, you have to evaluate their use of logos, ethos, and pathos, as well as use your own. So you want to make sure that the text is meaty enough to talk about. Now, you're welcome to find your own text if you'd like, or you can click on this wakelet over here to choose a text. Now, there's a link to this in the OneNote instructions, but I'll also drop it in the description for this video. Number 3, once you've got your text, I want you to use active reading strategies that work for you. Strategies like the ones like reading like a writer, or you can create a reverse outline, you can annotate your text, you can storyboard the text, whatever you need to do in order to make sure that you accurately understand the text. And I really want to emphasize accurately understand, because one of the ways in which some students go left with this assignment is they misunderstand the text. And so as a result, their critique, their evaluation of the text is based on a misunderstanding. It's not a fair evaluation anymore. Then number 4, use active reading strategies to identify and analyze the rhetorical appeals in your text. So in other words, once you've figured out what the text is about, then you can start to go through and say, oh, this is an example of logos. Oh, this is an example of pathos. And then you can start to evaluate those rhetorical appeals and say, this really works very well. This is very effective because. Or you might identify an example of pathos, some storytelling, and say, wow, this is actually incredibly problematic because. And there's a graphic organizer here that I've linked to, which you can use to organize your ideas. Number 5, you can review this infographic about how to structure your rhetorical analysis essay. Again, just click on the link. Number 6, create an outline of your rhetorical analysis essay. Now, I really encourage you to create brainstorms, notes, outlines, drafts, because the reality is that good writing, really good writing, doesn't just happen like that. It takes a lot of strategy, it takes a lot of planning, it's very intentional, it's very deliberate. Whatever you've seen in the movies where someone is just overcome with some type of inspiration is very rare. Usually it takes a lot of practice, there's a routine to it, there's a process. And part of the writing process is to outline your ideas. And one of the best things you can get from outlining is making sure that you're staying on track while you're writing. And it also prevents you from procrastinating and getting sort of that writer's block. It really will help you sort of unclog your ideas and put it on the page. Once you've got your outline done, you can then take that outline, kind of like a shopping list, and turn it into a draft, in the same way that you might go from a list of ingredients into an actual recipe. I've also provided a link to an APA 7 template that will help you with your APA 7 formatting. Once you've got your draft done, you want to make sure that you edit and revise it really carefully. I have a checklist over here so you can go through and check all of your work. And I also encourage you to be brave, be courageous, and actually share your draft with a peer in the class. Get someone else's feedback, and you can ask them questions like, I'm trying to do this. I've tried this so far. I don't think it's really working because of this. Do you have any suggestions? Be really specific in the type of feedback that you want. Otherwise, people will just say, oh yeah, it's good, it sounds good. Yeah, it makes sense. But that's actually not really helpful. So be really specific and pointed and intentional with the type of feedback you want to get from your peers. Once you've incorporated the feedback that you think is worth it, edit your essay one more time. Make sure you check for grammar, your word choice, your punctuation, because it does matter. And check it against the rubric before you upload it to Blackboard. Again, you want to upload it to Blackboard as a Word document or as a PDF. Okay, I hope that this video has been useful to you in terms of understanding the rhetorical analysis essay. Please let me know in class if you have any other questions. I'm happy to answer them. Thanks.